श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगन रघुनाथानुतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं हे राधा कृष्णपादां सगन ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रसारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे शास्त्रार्थी पीयूष सर्ववेदैक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धांत रत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैक दृक्प्रद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभो कलिध्वांतोदितादित्य श्री कृष्ण परिवर्तित परमानंद पाठाय प्रेमवर्षक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्री कृष्णाय नमस्तु मे मदेक बंधो मत्संगे मद्गुरो मन्महाधन मन्निस्तारक मद्भाग्य मदानंद नमोस्तुते साधु साधुदादाय नतनी चोच्चताकर आनवं च कदाचिन् मां प्रेम्णा हृत्कण्ठयोऽस्फुरन् ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओके 2.5.3 to 2.5.14 x3 सर्वं ह्येतद् भवान् वेद भूतो भव्य भवत्प्रभुः करामलक यद् करामलकवद् विश्वं विज्ञानावसितं तव. My dear father, all this is known to you scientifically because whatever was created in the past, whatever will be created in the future, or whatever is being created at present, as well as everything within the universe is within your grip, just like a walnut. न जानामि इति न वक्तव्यम्. Don't say I don't know. इत्याह सर्वमिति. भूतं जातं भव्यं जनिष्यमानं भवत् जायमानं तेषां प्रभुर्यतः. You are the master of everything in the past, present, and future. Because you are the master of everything in the past, present, and future, ataha, therefore, vishishtena jnanena, avasitam nishchitam. Therefore, you have ascertained everything through specialized knowledge of everything. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, sarvam, all and everything, refers to Paramatma, Jivatma, Jagat iti trikam. Refers to the Supreme Soul, the finite individual soul, and the world. These three. Bhutam, Purvajatam Pranivrindam, Bhavyam, Janishyamanam, Bhavajjayamanam. And the past, present, and future here refer to the living creatures who have taken birth in the past, who are going to take birth in the future, and who are taking birth at present. Tesham Prabhu, you are the master of all these living creatures. Karastham amalaka phalam iva, like an amlaka fruit in your hand. You know all of them. Brahma is the direct creator of the manifested universe and everything within the universe. He therefore knows what happened in the past, what will happen in the future, and what is happening at present. Three principal items, namely the living being, the phenomenal world, and the controller, are all in continuous action, past, present, and future. The direct manager is supposed to know everything of such actions and reactions as one knows about a walnut within the grip of one's palm. The direct manufacturer of a particular thing is supposed to know how he learned the art of manufacturing, where he got the ingredients, how he set it up, and how the products in the manufacturing process are being turned out. Because Brahma is a first-born living being, naturally he is supposed to know everything about creative functions. Text 4. Yad vijnano yadadharo yad parastvam yadatmakaha Ekasrishati bhutani bhuter evatma mayaya. My dear Father, what is the source of your knowledge? Under whose protection are you standing? And under whom are you working? What is your real position? Do you alone create all entities with material elements by your personal energy? Vashatvadidam rupam harenaiva swarupataha iti manasa samhitayam. In Manasa Samhita, Madhvacharya quotes, it is noted that this universe is said to be a form of Lord Hari because it is under his control. It is not that it is a form of Lord Hari intrinsically, naturally. In Bhavishya Parva of Mahabharata, we come across this statement. Yadathina yasya satta tattat ityeva bhanyate vidyamane vibhedepi mitho nityam swarupatah. Even though two entities are eternally and intrinsically different from each other, there is a distinction which is eternally there between them. If the existence of one is dependent on another, then this is said to be that. Tadadhikam gyatum kurupaksham dasyati. Ekasvijati ityadina. In order to know better about the subject matter, Narada Muni presents the Purva Paksha. Purva Paksha means the view of the opposition. There are people who think that Brahma is the actual cause of the universe and so on. Yato vijnanam yasya. Tastava vijnanada ityartha. What is the source of your knowledge? Who is giving you this knowledge? Yata adhara. Tastava ashraya. Under whose protection are you standing? Who's your shelter? Yat paraha. Yat athinaha. Under whom are you working? Yata atmaka. Yat swarupaha. What is your real position? Mamatu mameva swatantra parameshwara iti buddhihi. I have the idea that you are the independent Supreme Lord. Tava tapasyaranena tu parashankaya pritchami ityaha sardaihi chaturbihi. But when I see you engaged in austerities, then I have a great doubt. And therefore, I'm asking you. So this is noted in 4.5 verses. Ekaha. You're creating alone without any assistance. It appears to me that you are yourself the source of knowledge. You're under your own protection. You're under your own subordination and so on. Therefore, he uses the expression ekaha, alone. It was known to Sri Narada Muni that Lord Brahma attained creative energy by undergoing severe austerities. As such, he could understand that there was someone else superior to Brahmaji who invested Brahma with the power of creation. Therefore, he asked all the above questions. Discoveries of progressive scientific achievements are therefore not independent. The scientist has to attain the knowledge of a thing already existing by means of a wonderful brain made by someone else. A scientist can work with the help of such an awarded brain. But it is not possible for the scientist to create his own or a similar brain. Therefore, no one is independent in the matter of any creation, nor is such creation automatic. That's 5. Atman bhavayase tani na parabhavayan swayam atmashaktim avashtabhya purna nabhir ivaklamaha. As the spider very easily creates a network of its cobbler and manifests its power of creation without being defeated by others, so also you yourself, by employment of your self-sufficient energy, create without anyone's help. Klama-rahitah, aklamaha, shrama-rahitah, sorry. Very easily you're doing all these things without any labor, any exhaustion on your part. Just like the spider. It manifests its power and creates like that. Suryadav vidyamane deepade parabhava darshana. When you have the sun, such a bright source of illumination, then we see that the illumination of a lamp is defeated. But you are not, your power of creation is not defeated in that manner by anyone else. The conclusion is you yourself must be the ingredient cause. The best example of self-sufficiency is the sun. The sun does not require to be illuminated by any other body. Rather, it is the sun which helps all other illuminating agents. For in the presence of the sun, no other illuminating agent becomes prominent. Narada compares the position of Brahma to the self-sufficiency of the spider, who creates its own field of activities without any other's help by employment of its own energetic creation of saliva. 6. Aham veda param hyasmin, aparam na samam vibho, namarupa gunai bhavyam saddasat kinchidanyataha. Whatever we can understand by the nomenclature, characteristics, and features of a particular thing, superior, inferior, or equal, eternal or temporary, is not created by any source other than that of your Lordship, thou so great. Matsya Purana, Madhvacharya's quoting. This is a prayer to Lord Keshava. Twadadhina yatah satta, avarasyapi Keshava. Because the existence of even inferior entities are completely under you, O Lord Keshava. Therefore, they are you. Even though there is a complete intrinsic difference between them and you. Arduni says that everything has come from you. Nomenclature, names, such as man, qualities, or characteristics, such as having two legs, features, such as being of a white complexion, all of them has come from you. We know of everything, gross or subtle, only from you. Therefore, we know that everything has come from you. The manifested world is full of varieties of created beings in 8,400,000 species of life. And some of them are superior and inferior to others. In human society, the human being is considered to be the superior living being. And amongst the human beings, there are also different varieties, good, bad, equal, etc. But Narada Muni took for granted that none of them has any source of generation besides his father, Brahmaji. Therefore, he wanted to know all about them from Lord Brahma. Text 7. Sabhavar acharad goram yat tapassu samahitaha tena khedayase nastvam prashankam yachasi. Yet we are moved to wonder about the existence of someone more powerful than you. When we think of your great austerities and perfect discipline, although your good self is so powerful in the matter of creation, yataha parashankam ishwarantara ashankam prayachasi. All of this is bring about a doubt that there is somebody else who's superior to you, that there is a controller other than you. Tadetad तथा उत्तरवाक्यं च तन्मुखेनैव अन्यान् शिक्षयितुम् उक्तम्. All of this and what will be stated later on has been presented by Narada Muni just to make Brahma himself teach about his own position to everyone. Following in the footsteps of Sri Narada Muni, one should not blindly accept a spiritual master as God himself. A spiritual master is duly respected on a par with God. But a spiritual master claiming to be God himself should at once be rejected. Narada Muni accepted Brahma as a supreme due to Lord Brahma's wonderful acts in creation. But doubts arose in him when he saw that Lord Brahma also worshipped some superior authority. The entire Vedic civilization is a civilization of Sharanagati, surrender. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishwaso varnam tatha nikshepanam akarpanyam shadvitha Sharanagati. The 6 items of surrender you will find everywhere. The whole idea is there's a hierarchy of capable beings, and those who require to have their desires fulfilled should approach higher authorities, submit unto them by surrendering to the 6 items. That involves the body, mind, intelligence, everything. And then their desires can be fulfilled. So the whole idea is how to make the souls submissive to authority. So Narada Muni saw that Brahma was himself surrendered to someone else. But doubts arose in him when he saw that Lord Brahma also worshipped some superior authority. The supreme, capital S, is supreme. And he has no worshipable superior. In other words, only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the independent controller, is not surrendered to anyone else. What is that? Ekale Ishwar Krishna Arsa Vritya. The Ahangraha Upasita, or the one who worships himself with the idea of becoming God himself, is misleading. But the intelligent disciple can at once detect that the Supreme God does not need to worship anyone, including himself, in order to become God. Ahangrahopasana may be one of the processes for transcendental realization, but the Ahangrahopasita can never be God himself. No one becomes God by undergoing a process of transcendental realization. Narada Muni thought of Brahmaji as a supreme person, but when he saw Brahmaji engaged in the process of transcendental realization, doubts arose in him. So he wanted to be clearly informed. Strictly speaking, this idea that I am God, this kind of meditation, is only about qualitative oneness, not about quantitative oneness. Text 8. Etanme prachitah sarvam sarvagya sakaleshwara vijanihi yathaivedam aham buddhyenu shasitah. My dear Father, you know everything and you are the controller of all. Therefore, may all that I have inquired from you be kindly instructed to me so that I may be able to understand it as your student. Think about everything that I have asked you and then speak in such a manner that I can understand. Tena asya uttaram abadhitam dehi iti vyanjitam. So please give me an answer which you will not cancel in the future. எனக்கு மிளகு ரசம் பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட் பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்டோட வேணும். In other words, he's saying that don't say something that is appropriate to me now, and then after I become mature, you say the opposite of that. Don't do all these things. Just say the actual thing, which you will never ever cancel in the future. The inquiries made by Narada Muni are very important for everyone concerned. And as such, Narada requested Brahmaji to deem them suitable so that all others who may come in the line of disciplic succession of the Brahma Sampradaya may also know them properly without any difficulty. Text 9. Brahmovacha. Samyak karunikasyeram vatsate vichikitsitam yaddaham choditah samya bhagavad virya darshane. Lord Brahma said, my dear boy Narada, being merciful to all, including me, you have asked all these questions and thus inspired me to see into the prowess of the Almighty Personality of God. Actually, the position of Lord Brahma has been very excellently presented in Brihad-bhagavatamrita. Very, very fine description. Brihad-bhagavatamrita is a very, very important book to be studied thoroughly. If one wants to understand the different types of devotees of Krishna. Brahma and the demigods are all empowered by Krishna to manage this universe. Their nature is also presented there. Laghu Bhagavatamrita of Rupa Goswami clarifies Brihad Bhagavatamrita of Sanatana Goswami. That is also important. Prashnam Abhinandati. First of all, he appreciates the question. The question is very nice based on your doubt. You are so merciful to me that you have asked this question. Because now I am engaged in pointing out the characteristics of the Supreme. I am now going to reveal the prowess of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even though you are just inquisitive, you have actually bestowed your mercy upon me. This is the meaning. According to Chaitanya Matamanjusha, Bhavan Sarvameva Vetti, Tathapi Sandhyane. eva pritchasi yat tatte lokan prati karunikata. You actually know everything, but you're asking these questions as a doubtful soul. That is simply your compassion for all the worlds. Because now I have been impelled to see the prowess of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is also, so your goal is also to test me. That is the implication. Even though you are, even though you know everything, still you have exhibited your compassion upon me, your father. As the person who's meant to deliberate on all this, um, I have now been impelled to see the prowess of the Supreme Personality of Godhead regarding his creation, maintenance, destruction of the universe. So he was very happy, thinking, oh, now for a moment in my mind, I can actually see how the Supreme Lord's prowess works. Brahmaji, being so questioned by Naradaji, congratulated him. For it is usual for the devotees to become very enthusiastic whenever they are questioned concerning the Almighty Personality of God. That is a sign of a pure devotee of the Lord. Such discourses on the transcendental activities of the Lord purify the atmosphere in which such discussions are held, and the devotees thus become enlivened while answering such questions. It is purifying both for the questioners and for one who answers the questions. The pure devotees are not satisfied only by knowing everything about the Lord. They are also eager to broadcast the information to others, for they want to see that the glories of the Lord are known to everyone. Thus, the devotee feels satisfied when such an opportunity is offered to him. This is the basic principle of missionary activities. The missionary activities have to be executed by devotees who are self-motivated. Extend नानृतं तव तच्चापि यथा मां प्रब्रवीषि भो अविज्ञाय परम मत्त एतावत् त्वं यतो हि मे. Whatever you have spoken about me is not false, because unless and until one is aware of the personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate truth beyond me, one is sure to be illusioned by observing my powerful activities. He then anticipates that Narada Muni would be thinking, I told you that you are yourself that Supreme Personality of Godhead in text 4, from text 4 onward. That is true. Now in response, Brahmaji is thinking, that's true. यथा माम ईश्वरत्वेन प्रभाषसे तदपि तव भाषणम न अत्यंतम अनृतम. You have called me the Ishvara, the controller. That statement of yours is not completely false. Yatah karana, because etavat prabhavasya bhava etavat tvameva tvam me asti. Kintu matah param Ishwaram avidyaya brusha. Because you do not know that there is an Ishvara, a controller, superior to me. Ataha, and his way of control is similar to the way I control. Ataha sadrishya. And because of this similarity, tava iyam bhrantihi natu buddhi purvam anritam. So this confusion that you have in your mind, this is not an intentional statement of falsity. Yataha Ishwarat mama etavat tvam tam avidyaya iti va. It was so long, you do not clearly grasp the distinction between me and the Ishvara, the Supreme Lord. What you have told about me is not true. Uh, you have established my opulences just to test me. Till the Jiva Goswami says that Lord Brahma thought, or else uh, maybe you are actually in ignorance. And in lamentation, he spoke this. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, Pincha. Moreover, O Putra, O my dear son, ekasrajasi bhutani ityadina mam ishwaratvera yata pravishi tachapi nanratam namitya. You said that I create this universe alone. You said that I am the Ishvara, I am God. Tachapi nanratam. That is not false. Yataha mattaha sakashadapi parameshwaram avigyaya mattam parasmin parameshware avigyate sati ityartha. Because you do not know about a Lord who is superior to me. There's something wrong with this. What is this? Wait. Let me trace out another reading. So, Siddhanta Sufirabha edition. Let me check that. Five point. Taha. Avidyayama. Taha parasma. तावत्त्वं स्यात् इति अनेककर्तृत्वे कर्तृकत्वेपि त्वाप्रत्यय आर्ष विद्वान् मत्तः परम् अविज्ञाय मम एतावत्त्वं लोका ब्रुवन्ति इति शेषः. There are those who do not see anyone superior to me and who only look up to me, and therefore they speak like this. Tvam tu sarvagyopi तानेव ज्ञापयितुं तान् अनुकृत्य ब्रूषे इति भावः. The implication is, even though you know everything, in order to teach them, in order to inform these other people, you are imitating them and you are speaking. मम मत्तः परम् अविज्ञाय ब्रवीषि इति व्याख्याने तु नारदस्य ज्ञानत्वं ब्रह्मणा ज्ञातम् अनुचितम्. It is inappropriate to say that Brahma actually considered that Narada to be ignorant. So all of this discussion is for others' benefit. The frog in the well logic illustrates that a frog residing in the ocean and boundary of a well cannot imagine the length and breadth of the gigantic ocean. Such a frog, when informed of the gigantic length and breadth of the ocean, first of all, does not believe that there is such an ocean. And if someone assures him that factually there is such a thing, the frog then begins to measure it by imagination. by means of pumping its belly as far as possible, with the result that the tiny abdomen of the frog bursts and the poor frog dies without any experience of the actual ocean. Similarly, the material scientists also want to challenge the inconceivable potency of the Lord by measuring him with their frog-like brains and their scientific achievements, but at the end they simply die unsuccessfully, like the frog. There's a question here. Prabhu.
Prabhu, in purport's last line, you said that missionaries' activities are to be taken by, and then it was not clear to me. So I was asking if you can repeat it.
What did I
Missionary
say?
missionary activities are
This
to
is the
be.
basic principle of missionary activities.
You said that a particular type of devotee should do missionary activity or should take up something like this. I missed it. What it was?
Who are self-motivated.
Yeah, the self-motivated devotee. Look at this. The pure devotees are not satisfied only by knowing everything about the Lord. They are also eager to broadcast information to others, or they want to see that the glories of the Lord are known to everyone. Thus, the devotee feels satisfied when such an opportunity is offered to him. So, they have to be pure, they have to be self-motivated. We will continue. Sometimes a materially powerful man is accepted as God or the incarnation of God without any knowledge of the factual God. Such a material assessment may be gradually extended, and the attempt may reach to the highest limit of Brahmaji, who is the topmost living being within the universe and has a duration of life unimaginable to the material scientist. As we get information from the most authentic book of knowledge, the Bhagavad Gita 8.17, Brahmaji's one day and night is calculated to be some hundreds of thousands of years on our planet. This long duration of life may not be believed by the frog in the well, quote unquote. But persons who have a realization of the truths mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita accept the existence of a great personality who creates the variegatedness of the complete universe. It is understood from the revealed scriptures that the Brahmaji of this universe is younger than all the other Brahmas in charge of the many, many universes beyond this, but none of them can be equal to the personality of Godhead. Naradaji is one of the liberated souls, and after his liberation, he was known as Narada. Otherwise, before his liberation, he was simply a son of a maidservant. The questions may be asked, why Naradaji was not aware of the Supreme Lord and why he misconceived Brahmaji to be the Supreme Lord, although factually he was not. A liberated soul is never bewildered by such a mistaken idea. So why did Naradaji ask all those questions just like an ordinary man with a poor fund of knowledge? There was such bewilderment in Arjuna also, although he is eternally the associate of the Lord. Such bewilderment in Arjuna or in Narada takes place by the will of the Lord, so that other non-liberated persons may realize the real truth and knowledge of the Lord. The doubt arising in the mind of Narada about Brahmaji's becoming all-powerful is a lesson for the frogs in the well, that they may not be bewildered in misconceiving the identity of the personality of God, even by comparison to a personality like Brahma. So what to speak of ordinary men who falsely pose themselves as God or incarnation of God? The Supreme Lord is always the Supreme, and as we have tried to establish many times in these purports, no living being, even up to the standard of Brahma, can claim to be one with the Lord. One should not be misled when people worship a great man as God after his death as a matter of hero worship. There were many kings like Lord Ramachandra, the king of Ayodhya, but none of them are mentioned as God in the revealed scriptures. To be a good king is not necessarily the qualification for being Lord Ram. But to be a great personality like Krishna is a qualification for being the personality of God. Here, a great personality means someone who unrestrictedly exhibits the six opulences. If we scrutinize the characters who took part in the Battle of Kurukshetra, we find that Maharaj Yudhishthir was no less a pious king than Lord Ramachandra. And by character study, Maharaj Yudhishthir was a better moralist than Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna asked Maharaj Yudhishthir to lie, but Maharaj Yudhishthir protested. But that does not mean that Maharaj Yudhishthir could be equal to Lord Ramachandra or Lord Krishna. The great authorities have estimated Maharaj Yudhishthir to be a pious man, but they have accepted Lord Ram or Krishna as the personality of Godhead. The Lord is therefore a different identity in all circumstances, and no idea of anthropomorphism can be applied to him. Therefore, the idea that one creates God based on a human being, this idea cannot be applied to him. The Lord is always the Lord, and a common living being can never be equal to him. Next 11. Jena swar rochishā vishvam, rochitam rochayamyaham, yatharko nir yathasomo yatarksha grahatarakaah. I create after the Lord's creation by his personal effulgence known as the Brahmajyoti. Just as when the sun manifests its fire, the moon, the firmament, the influential planets, and the twinkling stars also manifest their brightness. तर्हि कोसवीश्वर इत्यपेक्षायां भक्त्या नमस्कुर्वन् एव तं कथयति त्रिभिः. Then Lord Brahma anticipates that Narada Muni would ask, so who is that controller who is above you? And then with devotion, he offers his obeisances unto that Lord and describes him in 3 verses beginning with the current verse. Yena swaprakashena rochitam prakashitam eva prakashayami srishtya abhivyaktam karoni. By his own effulgence, I manifest or I illuminate that which is illuminated by his illumination. In other words, I, through creation, reveal this world. Yatha, just as Arkadayaha Chaitanya Prakashyameva Prakashayanti. Tatha cha Shrutihi. Just as the sun manifests its fire and so on. So then he is quoting a Shruti text. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam, nema vidyato bhanti, kutoyam agni. Tammeva bhantam anubhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. The sun does not shine there in the abode of the Supreme Being, nor the moon, nor the stars, nor lightning. So what to speak of fire? When he illuminates, then everything else illuminates following him. It is by his illumination that everything here is illuminating. Yatha arkadayaha tadrochishā rochitam vishvam rochayanti. Just as the sun and so on illuminate the world that is actually illuminated by him, like that. Just as the sun and so on, they shine only by his potency, like that. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Brahma was thinking, in reality, I am just a wretched soul. It is simply by his illumination, the illumination of the Supreme Lord who is self-illuminating, that I am revealing this world. Just as the sun and so on, they only illuminate that which is already which is illuminated by him. And we know that from the Shruti. Lord Brahmaji said to Narada that his impression that Brahma was not the supreme authority in the creation was correct. Sometimes less intelligent men have the foolish impression that Brahma is the cause of all causes. But Narada wanted to clear the matter by the statements of Brahmaji, the supreme authority in the universe. As the decision of the Supreme Court of a state is final, similarly, the judgment of Brahmaji, the supreme authority in the universe, is final in the Vedic process of acquiring knowledge. As we have already affirmed in the previous verse, Naradaji was a liberated soul. Therefore, he was not one of the less intelligent men who accept a false god or gods in their own ways. He represented himself as less intelligent and yet intelligently presented a doubt to be cleared by the supreme authority, so that the uninformed might take note of it and be rightly informed about the intricacies of the creation and the creator. In this verse, Brahmaji clears up the wrong impression held by the less intelligent and affirms that he creates the universal variegatedness after the material potencies are created by the glaring effulgence of Lord Sri Krishna. Brahmaji has also separately given this statement in the Samhita known as the Brahma Samhita. Capital S Samhita. Samhita is a Vedic text. You can also refer to a Pancharatrika text. Known as the Brahma Samhita 5.40, where he says, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanta Koti Koti Shashesha Vasudhadi Vibhuti Bhinnam Tad Brahma Nishkalam Anantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental bodily effulgence, known as the Brahmajyoti, which is unlimited, unfathomed, and all-pervasive, is the cause of the creation of unlimited numbers of planets, etc., with varieties of climates and specific conditions of life. The same statement is in the Bhagavad Gita 14.27. Lord Krishna is the background of the Brahmajyoti, Brahmanohi Pratishtaham. In the Nirukti or Vedic dictionary, the import of Pratishtha is mentioned as that which establishes. The Nirukti is a book which explains the principles of derivation. It's not like a conventional dictionary, like there are other thesauruses, like Amara Kosha, Medini Kosha, Prabhupada quotes from all these. Nirukti is not exactly like that. So the Brahmajyoti is not independent or self-sufficient. Lord Shri Krishna is ultimately the creator of the Brahmajyoti mentioned in this verse as Swar Rochisha, or the effulgence of the transcendental body of the Lord. This Brahmajyoti is all-pervading, and all creation is made possible by its potent power. Therefore, the Vedic hymns declare that everything that exists is being sustained by the Brahmajyoti. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Therefore, the potent seed of all creation is the Brahmajyoti, and the same Brahmajyoti, unlimited and unfathomed, is established by the Lord. Therefore, the Lord, Sri Krishna, is ultimately the supreme cause of all creation. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha. One should not expect the Lord to create like a blacksmith with a hammer and other instruments. In other words, we should not expect that the supreme independent being to create the way we create things. The Lord creates by his potencies. He has his multifarious potencies. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. Just as a small seed of a banyan fruit has the potency to create a big banyan tree, the Lord disseminates all varieties of seeds by his potent Brahmajyoti, Swarochisha. And the seeds are made to develop by the watering process of persons like Brahma. Brahma cannot create the seeds, but he can manifest the seed into a tree just as a gardener helps plants and orchards to grow by the watering process. The example cited here of the sun is very appropriate. In the material world, the sun is the cause of all illumination. Fire, electricity, the rays of the moon, etc. All luminaries in the sky are creations of the sun. The sun is the creation of the Brahmajyoti, and the Brahmajyoti is the effulgence of the Lord. Thus, the ultimate cause of creation is the Lord. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has quoted from a verse from the next chapter. Srajamitan niyuktoham haro harati tadvashah. Lord Brahma says, I create because I am engaged by Lord Vishnu to create. Lord Hara or Lord Shiva, he destroys because he is under the control of Lord Vishnu. Vishwam Purusharupena Paripati Trishakti Dhrit. And it is the Supreme Lord himself using his three potencies that who maintains this universe in the form of the Purushas. Text 12. This is also nice. This is done, so start with explanation. Just that we don't have time, otherwise it would be nice. Text 12. Tasmai namo bhagavate vasudevaya dhimahi yan maya yaya mam vadanti jagadgurum. I offer my obeisances and meditate upon Lord Krishna Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, whose invincible potency influences them, the less intelligent class of men, to call me the supreme controller. Kya maya hare shaktir amukhya prakritir mata. The primary maya is Lord Hari's potency. Secondary maya is considered to be prakriti. Atha amukhya tama chaiva maya hina prakirtita. So this is most insignificant, this form of maya. Tasmai namo dhimahi. Therefore, I offer my obeisances and I meditate upon Lord Vasudeva. Yasya maya vimohita santaha yushmadaleha. Because by his maya, persons like you are bewildered. And you say that I am the Jagat Guru, in the sense that I am the cause of the universe. I'm not personally creating. Those who don't know this, they are the ones who say that I am God. And therefore, I offer my obeisances unto Vasudeva. Vasudeva is Vasudeva, the son of is the son of Vasudeva. Brahma is astonished that people could consider him to be the supreme being. As will be more clearly explained in the next verse, the illusory potency of the Lord bewilders the less intelligent to accept Brahmaji, or for that matter, any other person, as the Supreme Lord. Brahmaji, however, refuses to be called this, and he directly offers his respectful obeisances unto Lord Vasudeva or Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, as he has already offered the same respects to him in the Brahma Samhita 5.1. Ishwarah Paramah Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. The Supreme Lord is the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, the primeval Lord in his transcendental body, the ultimate cause of all causes. I worship that primeval Lord Govinda. Brahmaji is conscious of his actual position. And he knows how less intelligent persons bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord whimsically accept anyone and everyone as God. A responsible personality like Brahmaji refuses to be addressed as the Supreme Lord by his disciples or subordinates. But foolish persons praised by men of the nature of dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. This is a reference to Shva Vidvan Khare verse. Feel flattered to be addressed as a Supreme Lord. Why such persons take pleasure in being addressed as God, or why such persons are addressed as God by foolish admirers, is explained in the following verse. It's 13. Vilajyamanaya yasya sthatumiksha pathe muya vimohita vikathante mamahamiti durdhiyaha. The illusory energy of the Lord cannot take precedence, being ashamed of her position. But those who are bewildered by her always talk nonsense, being absorbed in thoughts of it is I and it is mine. This bewildering energy is ashamed to stand in front of the Lord. Bewildered by her, the ill-conceived vituperate and talk nonsense. It is mine. I am everything. Yan mayayeti maya sambandha uktehe tasyaha durjayatva uktescha tasyapi kimasti samsaro naivetyaha. By talking about his maya and by saying that she is insurmountable, the question may arise whether he also experiences uh, samsara. Samsara means material existence. I came across a good translation of the word samsara, transmigratory existence. It is the state when the living entities are made to transmigrate from one body to another. So does the Supreme Lord have to experience this? No. Mat kapatam asau janati iti yasya दृष्टिपथे स्थातुं विरज्यमानया एव तस्मिन् स्वकार्यम् अकुर्वत्या अमुया मायया विमोहिता. She knows that my deception, she knows that the Supreme Lord knows about her acts of deception. Therefore, she is ashamed, shy to stand on the pathway of his glance. In other words, she does not have any effect on him. But we are bewildered by her. Durdhiha, avidyavrita jnana. Our knowledge has been covered by ignorance. Eva, kevalam vikatate shlagante. Only we are bewildered by her. We are of less intelligence. We are of bad intelligence. And therefore, we speak nonsense. We glorify ourselves. Anena yadrupam ityasya prashnasya uttaram uktam bhavati. So that question was asked, yadrupam, what is your nature? This is the answer to that question. Satchidananda ghanattvena yasya nirdoshasya netragochare satum vilajyamanaya amuya mayaya mohita. Mohita. Tasmadadaya tadvatiya vitathante atmanam shlaghante. Maya is shy or ashamed to come before the vision of the Supreme Lord, who is non-defective, as a concentrated form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Are those who bestow respect upon you, that you are the guru of the entire universe. You are the creator of the universe. Are they bewildered by Maya? Satyam, yes. Bhagavat sambandham vina ye adarat dayanaha ye cha tasmat adarat grahyaha cha te ubhaye api bahirdarshinaha bhagavatah prishtadesha sthaya mayaya muhyante muhyante eva. Those who give respect without considering the relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, and those who accept respect from such a person, both of them are persons of external vision. That means they are materialistic. So they are certainly bewildered by Maya, who's situated behind Bhagavan. Vilajamanaya, mat kapatamasu janati iti kapatin yastriya eva. Like a deceptive lady who knows um, that he knows about my deception. यस्य दृष्टिपते स्थातुं विलज्जमानया अर्थात तत्पृष्ठदेशे एव स्थितवत्या अमुया मायया विमोहिता विकतन्ते. So she is situated behind the Supreme Lord and she bewilders these souls and therefore they speak nonsense. अत्र तद्विमुखता एव तत्पृष्ठदेशः ज्ञेयः. Their aversion to the Supreme Lord is what is referred to as being behind the Lord. तद्वैमुख्ये सत्येव तस्याः प्रभावः न सामुख्ये इति अर्थः. The idea is only when one becomes averse to the Supreme Lord, Maya will exhibit her potency on such a person. When a person is in front of the Supreme Lord, is facing the Supreme Lord in submission, then she will not exhibit her impact, her influence. A very explicit presentation. The invincible, powerful, deluding energy of the personality of God, or the third energy representing nescience, Tritiya Karma Sangyanya, the Vishnu Purana statement, can bewilder the entire world of animation, can bewilder the entire world of life. But still, she is not strong enough to be able to stand in front of the Supreme Lord. Nescience, ignorance, is behind the personality of God, where she is powerful enough to mislead the living beings. And the primary symptom of bewildered persons is that they talk nonsense. Nonsensical talks are not supported by the principles of the Vedic literatures. And first great nonsense talk is, it is I, it is mine. A godless civilization is exclusively conducted by such false ideas, such persons without any factual realization of God, accept a false God or falsely declare themselves to be God to mislead persons who are already bewildered by the deluding energy. Those who are before the Lord, however, and who surrender unto Him, cannot be influenced by the deluding energy. Therefore, they are free from the misconception of it is I, it is mine, and therefore they do not accept a false God, oppose themselves as equal to the Supreme Lord. Identification of the bewildered person is distinctly given in this verse. Text 14. Text 14 is often quoted by Madhvacharya. Dravyam karma cha kalascha swabhava jiva eva cha vasudevat paro brahman nanyorthosti tatvatah. And not exactly this text, but there is another text we'll come across in the second canto. I don't know if we have already come across it. It is very similar to this, that Madhvacharya often quotes. The 5 elementary ingredients of creation, the interaction thereof, set up by eternal time, and the intuition or nature of the individual living being are all differentiated parts and parcels of the personality of God in Vasudeva. And in truth, there is no other value in them. तदेव स्वस्मात् अन्यं परमेश्वरं निरूप्य इदानीं यद् अधिष्ठानम् इत्यादि नवप्रश्नानां स एव अधिष्ठानादिकं सर्वम् इत्युत्तरं वक्तुं तद् व्यतिरेकेण अन्यस्य असत्त्वमाह द्रव्यमिति. So having pointed out that there is someone else who is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Controller, and that person is distinct from Brahma. He is not Brahma. Then he prepares to answer the remaining 9 questions of Brahma, of Narada. Yadadhisthana. What is the foundation? of you? Who is your foundation? And the answer is that he is himself the foundation and everything for me. So in order to state all this, first of all, he indirectly states that nothing else exists apart from his empowerment. If he does not empower, then nothing else exists. Dravyam. Mahabhutani upadana rupani. Dravya refers to the ingredients of this universe. These are the gross elements. Karma. Karma refers to the karmic reaction which brings about birth. We learn from Bhagavad Gita also. Karma is that which brings about of a material body. Kalas, that shobhakaha. Kala refers to eternal time which agitates Prakriti. Swabhavas, tat parinama hetuhu. Swabhava is that which brings about the various transformations of matter. Jivaha, the living being, refers to bhokta, the one who is going to experience the happiness and unhappiness as the responsible agent. Vasudevat paraha anyaha artha na asti karana avyatirekat aryasya. There's nothing other than Vasudeva because the effect is not different from the cause. यद्रूपम इत्यादि प्रश्न दशकस्य उत्तरं वक्तुं प्रथमं भगवद्व्यतिरेकेण अन्यस्य असत्वमाह. In order to answer the 10 questions beginning with yadrupam, he indirectly states that nothing else exists. Kalaha gunakshobhakaha. Time agitates the modes of nature. Swabhavaha tat parinama hetu. And swabhava leads to the transformations of the modes of nature. Dravyadinam maya karyatvat. There's nothing other than Vasudeva because here dravya, karma, kala, these are all effects of maya. Maya ya jivasya cha tachaktitvad iti vishwasya Vasudeva rupatvam. And maya as well as the jiva are being his potencies because maya and jiva are his potencies. Vishwasya Vasudeva Rupatvam. This universe is a form of Vasudeva. Iti yadrupam ityasya uttaram. This is an answer to the question. What is your form? What is your nature? Chittanam Prabhu.
Only in purport 30, when Prabhupada is saying that symptom of bewildered person is they talk nonsense. So for a sadhaka, what all nonsense he should be aware of, beware of, alert of, and what all talks fall in this nonsense category.
You can see Prabhupada's explanation to Vacho Vegam in the purport. Anything which does not promote Shuddha Bhakti, any talk which does not promote pure devotion service to Lord Krishna will come under that category. Anything which promotes adharma, anything which promotes karma or jnana or yoga, all of that will come under that category. This phenomenal world is impersonally the representation of Vasudeva because the ingredients of its creation, their interaction and the enjoyer of the resultant action, the living being, are all produced by the external and internal energies of Lord Krishna. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.4 to 5. The ingredients, namely earth, water, fire, air, and sky, as well as the conception of material identity, intelligence, and the mind. False ego is called the conception of material identity. are produced by the external energy of the Lord. The living entity who enjoys the interaction of the above gross and subtle ingredients as set up by eternal time is an offshoot of the internal potency with the freedom to remain either in the material world or in the spiritual world. In the material world, the living entity is enticed by deluding notions, but in the spiritual world, he is in the normal condition of spiritual existence without any delusion. The living entity is known as the marginal potency of the Lord, but in all circumstances, neither the material ingredients nor the spiritual parts and parcels are independent of the personality of God and Vasudeva. For all things, whether products of the external, internal, or marginal potencies of the Lord, are simply displays of the same effulgence of the Lord, just as light, heat, and smoke are displays of fire. None of them is separate from the fire. All of them combine together to be called fire. Similarly, all phenomenal manifestations, that means material manifestations, as well as the effulgence of the body of Vasudeva, are his impersonal features, whereas he eternally exists in his transcendental form called Sachidananda Vigraha, distinct from all conceptions of the material ingredients mentioned above. Okay, so we'll stop with that. Okay. Pankaj Kapoor, yes, we pass in the cave. What's up with the Pavan and Vishnu?